All right, so let's get right into it. So I want to talk about today when you genuinely recognize how important standards are, or even more importantly, you just see, like, I'm talking about genuinely locked in people. And this is something I've had to come to terms to recently. There are people around me, they say they're locked in, they're not locked in. And that's okay. But when you interact with someone that's genuinely locked in, it's like, it's probably how the A rank hunters, when they saw Jin Woo and they interacted with him and they're just seeing the shit he's doing, and like, oh wow, like damn, there's levels to this shit, like a lot of levels, and it made me recognize too, like wow, I'm not as locked in as I thought, but it's motivating me now because now I'm thinking, okay, we can push this a lot further. There's still a lot we can learn from the gym. There's still a lot to work on with the physique, the lifts, everything. But it also boils down to just being consistent, like the genuinely locked in. Because now I know what being locked in on this health and diet. It took me a while, but now I understand what it means to be locked in. So this is a starting point. Of course, it's a good base because you've been doing it for years, but this is the actual starting point because now I know what the base is, and you're gonna recognize, wow, the bar is it's really low. The bar is in hell, or you call it whatever. I like the bars in hell. But our standards are so low where we think, one, it's okay not to, hit your protein goal or eat whole foods. We're trying to rationalize, we rationalize alcohol, poison, drugs. But we rationalize so much things in the pursuit of pleasure. And again, it's not even crazy. That's some bitch shit. That's emotional. For me, it's always systems of logic first. There's a time to be emotional, but not in most. No, with the self improvement journey, it's just following systems logic. I eat these foods because it's fuel. That's it. Doesn't have to be taste or I need a little variety. No, like you don't need to do all that. Just eat the same good foods over and over again. If food is just fuel, a lot of you still eat for taste. If you're eating Doritos, Crumble, all this bullshit, it's because you're primarily still, I have to eat for taste. Why can't it just be for function or for fuel? And anyone that argues that, I don't think you want to be like, because they're probably overweight. Their waist is probably 40. If they're a female, they might look like an NFL linebacker. Honestly. And I don't think you want to look like that. Or maybe you do, and that's okay. But if you don't, be careful who you're listening to, but who you're interacting with too also. Because again, the people you interact with, they are a reflection of you. And I think that's why a lot of us, we have to come online to find like-minded people, because I don't know anyone in my environment that inspires me, honestly. I think that's what's kind of led me to always feel a little alone. But now, you're still alone, right? Because the journey of self-improvement, it's self-improvement. You have to do the work. No one else can do it for you. But it's nice knowing that there are other people that understand that. Wow, there's not many of us. Because this space, Instagram, it might have brainwashed you, even YouTube. I promise you, no one is really in shape. If you're watching this, you're probably the most in shape person you know. And vice versa in most of the environments. At work, you're probably the only person that takes it serious, is in shape. And that's okay. That's okay, because you probably want to be extraordinary. So you're going to have to do things that, average people aren't willing to do. And I'm so fucking tired of hearing moderation, live a little. No, you guys need to work more. Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just don't want those things. But for me, I'm always thinking, okay, how far can we push this? Like, what's on the other side, It's like Goku, or he's like, how much star can I get? If he wants to beat Beerus, or, Whis, Grand Priest, all these characters that are way stronger than him. He's thinking, okay, what can I do to get even stronger? What can I do to get even more jacked, more shredded, more locked in, more disciplined, delayed gratification more? Like, what's on the other side of those things? And you don't know until you've gone through the trenches for a very long time, which is why I'm so excited now too. Because when you're genuinely on the journey, now it's exciting because I'm going to be S rank one day. There will be a day where I shoulder press, 100 pounds number. That's something I've always wanted to do. Even the weights I'm moving now, I genuinely never thought were possible. But the day will come where I can shoulder press, 200 pounds on dumbbells in-kind press, 120, 140, 160 even. All those things are possible. Especially, I know with this mindset now, it's just, you just think it and then it's going to manifest. Consistently enough, it will manifest in the way you want. Especially with SR. I'm in the prime state to do these things now, especially. From my understanding, the science is usually 6 months. If you can retain for 6 months, your dopamine receptors are probably unfried. Prolactin's a lot lower estrogen, higher tests. A lot of these things you're going to start to take notice. But I think through your standards just, I'm talking about immensely it's crazy. There are certain people now I'm not sure I want to interact with anymore as a consequence of this journey. Like, you guys don't get it, because genuinely it was people I thought that were locked in and really wanted this shit. And now I'm like, I'm not sure I want to be around that person. You might have to cut them off. Which is why I always say, be careful. There are so much consequences. And the consequences aren't bad things. It's just, things that come after. But there's a lot of consequences to this journey. Every day I think now, that first dumbbell shoulder press I did with 5 pounds, my mom recorded me. It's led up to this point and the moments that come after. Everything it started from that single point. Because I was in my lowest state and I was like, I'm tired. And I started with that first dumbbell shoulder press. And I haven't looked back. But I definitely didn't think I'd be at this point now off of that singular dumbbell press. I mean, there's been plenty of other things that have happened, but it's just to show you the magic of the self-improvement journey. That's why you have to protect your frequency, protect your energy. Especially now I recognize women, they will be the greatest amplifier or the thing that holds you back most. But unfortunately, for too many, they're innately holding you back. It's something I've had to come to terms with. Like, every time I'm with this person, am I doing anything that puts me close to my purpose or further? I was like, damn, fuck. It's further. And I had to reflect on that. I was like, wow, okay, maybe that's not the person then. And maybe they're out there, someone that is as locked in as me, but man, it's going to be a while before I can manifest that. Those are just things you start to come to terms with. Because I'm telling you, no one is as locked in my circle as me. It's not from the ego. It's just objective reality. I wouldn't be making these videos if there were other people in my immediate circle that were this locked. And I think that's why a lot of us, we gravitate to online, because it's so hard to find genuinely locked in people. And the easiest way to know someone's locked in, look at what they eat. Look at what they eat. If you watch them eat the same meals day in and day out, they're not eating for taste, they're fucking locked in. And if you can't even comprehend how locked in that is, you have to lock in yourself too, because you can't even. And the way I explain it is, if anyone's seen Bleach, remember when one of my favorite scenes, Ichigo, he's training in like that limbo world, right? The Don guy. But time passes slower there. So it's like the hyperbolic time chamber equivalent, but for Bleach. But when he comes back, and he's strong as shit, right? Because he mastered himself. His eyes come back hell confident. He basically retained for multiple years. So of course he comes back locked in, right? Because he's in his inner world. But time is still passing, so he can't goon or anything. So he can just lock in. But he comes back, and Aizen was like, oh, you've discarded your powers in exchange for physical strength. No, Ichigo's just vibrating so much higher than he is. He can't even comprehend that, oh, Ichigo's stronger. He thinks he's beneath, but no, Ichigo's way past that point now. And interacting with certain people, you're going to recognize like, oh, wow, they just don't get it. And you're not even going to try, but you won't feel bad. You just know, oh, they vibrate too lowly. They're not ready. It's really some anime shit. It really is. You're like, oh, this person's not ready. And regardless of what they say, your actions will show. But long before that, you'll sense it. You can sense it. I'm telling you. Retain long enough. That's a consequence too. The ability to sense when someone understands something. I still can't explain this shit. I don't know how I'm doing it. But someone can say I understand, and I'll know if they understand. Long before I see them do the actions, I'll know if they understand. And I don't know how I'm doing that, but it's just, I guess you can call it one of the superpowers of, retention, but maybe it's from alignment too. But the ability to read people, like you'll know if someone's locked in. But once your chance gets so high, if you're gonna meet me here or you're gonna get higher. But if this person's this low and I'm much higher, and I tell you, okay, do these things to get locked in, you're not doing it, you're cooked. You're not gonna waste your time or mine because it's like you're not that locked in, so there's no point. Sometimes people ask like, oh, what do I do? What do I eat? You're not gonna eat the way I do. If I tell you what I eat, you're not gonna do it. The fact that you have to ask what to eat is a sign that you're already cooked. But man, they're like, oh, I ate them. They basically told me what they ate, and it was they only ate food. They didn't cook anything. They just only ate food from McDonald's. I'm like, wow, cooked, gone. And it's sad to say, but there's no like, you can't sugarcoat this shit. There's no, oh, you know what? Like, women love to do that. Call you like, oh, it's okay. No, it's fucking not okay. If you're fat, no, it's not. We gotta rip the band-aid off. Some people need to be told like, you're a bitch. Like, you're acting like a bitch. Lock it. Like, people need to be told that. Honestly, you need to be told like, you're a bitch. Lock in. And that's okay. I don't see anything wrong with that because someone has to check you. This is why it's so important you have a circle. You need people. But fortunately, a lot of us don't have someone like that because you're probably the most locked in person you know, and you're not even that locked in. It's humbling, but it's a little sad almost because, wow, you wish there was someone else that would push you, almost motivate you. But that person doesn't exist. It has to be you. That's why everything you do, when I wake up early to go to the gym, it's for me. It's not for anyone else because if it's for any other reason than for me and my identity and to seek self-mastery and improve myself, it's not sustainable. You're not going to be able to sustain it for the long term because, again, it's a lifestyle. The reason people, they can't commit to SR, you can't commit to your diet, you can't commit to the gym is because you think there's an end. There is no end. You do this till you die. That's it. It's really just the actual day-to-day, the actual transformation process. You have to fall in love with that process, you know? Progress might stagnate, but it's not. You're still growing. The body's just doing it, you know, while you sleep. It's very hidden, but you are making progress, which is why you have to keep going. And this is why I always say, if you have anyone on the journey that's genuinely locked in, I mean truly genuinely locked in, cherish that person. If they're a brother, if you got an older brother, he's telling you to work out, go tell a nigga you love him right now. Dead ass. I'm not even like dead ass. Because for the long, I wish I had that. And maybe it still bothers me a little bit that I don't, but now I come to terms with like, I can be that person, you know? For myself. Okay, just motivate him, you know? Be like Goku, motivate yourself, and you can do it. And that's okay, because at the end of the day, you have to be 100% comfortable in your own skin and be at peace with it. No one's going to do it but you. For me, I'm like, yeah, no one, who else but me? Literally, like, who else but me? Because most people just aren't that locked in. It's just sad to say, but they're not. And if you're trying to get genuinely locked in, you got to find someone. But the only way you're going to do that is you have to vibrate high enough. So you have to lock in, do the work, and eventually that person will appear. I don't think, you know, everything happens for a reason. I don't think there's any of this coincidences for no reason. People you thought were locked in, maybe they end up that they're not locked in, but you learn from that. You start to recognize because when you embark this journey, the people around you serve as like your base, right? They're a reflection of you. So when you start to think, oh, I don't like this person anymore. Oh, they're a bitch. I don't want to be around that person. That's a sign you've grown. You've grown. That's a very subtle sign that you're starting to grow. But it's really interesting because, or maybe just at this current level I'm at, but my day ones, they're not locked in the way I am, but it's not a bad thing. I love all of them dearly, but I recognize that's the thing. They're not out here preaching about this stuff, you know. But what I think is even worse, and this is something I've had with one specific person, if you're gonna say you want these things, there is no like, you can't half-ass this. It's either all in or you don't. Like, I'd rather you doom scroll on your phone than half-ass the gym and your diet, like genuinely, because that's even worse. Because now you can't even commit to one identity. At least someone that's not locked in can commit to that identity. If you're a gooner, at least you can commit to that. But if you're trying to be both, oh, I don't goon, or I'm locked in, but you don't eat the right meals. You seek pleasure first. No, you're not actually locked in. So all the shit you're saying is fucking pointless. You might as well not even do it. And I think that's why it's so hard for people to be consistent, because a lot of times the old self will creep back up, but you have to see, for me, the goal is to If anyone's seen Invincible, you know how conquest is like it's a weakness. Not that it's a weakness in this literal sense, but the old self, the weak version of you, the one that seeks pleasure first, isn't disciplined, doesn't follow system of logic, that you need to kill. That needs to be killed. Because in order for you to grow, that part of you has to be killed. The one that's eating for taste, the one that, oh, I'm sore, so I'm not going to work out. That part of you needs to be killed. So that's on my goal, to pull that part out of me genuinely and fucking slaughter it. If anyone's seen Naruto, you know what's her name, Ino, the fucking like where she goes into like someone's body. No, that's the wrong character. Fucking the third Hokage, the Reaper Death Seal, where their soul comes out. Yeah, my goal is to pull that part of me out and fucking, I don't know, blast it with a shotgun or some shit. But just to genuinely destroy it. Because you don't want to be that weak. You can't, especially you cannot be that weak. You got to be firm and solid. Because the world, I'm telling you, the world will try to pull you in so much directions. Alcohol, drugs, woman. You can list a plethora of things. But the only way you're not going to fall victim to those things is just being locked in, like genuinely locked in. Because if you, and maybe I'm wrong, but if you can't control what you put in your mouth, pause. How the hell do you expect to control your finances? How people treat you, how you treat yourself? Like it's a lot of things. And this is why I always stress, you have to take this gym and diet stuff especially as I'm telling you, have to. There's no self-improvement. There's a reason it starts with the gym. It starts there for a reason. It's not because it's easy. No, it's the hardest thing. It's just that's how you start building merit. You start building the muscle of delayed gratification. And for me, that muscle is pretty developed, but I recognize, there's still levels to it too, because you really have to measure, and this is gonna blow some of your minds. You have to measure the gym in decades. If you haven't been lifting for a decade, not long enough. You can't complain unless you've been locked in for 10 plus years. And when I say locked in, that means you haven't missed a workout. That means you get your protein goal every day. You were pretty active, and your recovery was dialed in. If you haven't been doing all three of those things for 10 plus years, you can't complain. You can't cope because you haven't been doing it long enough. But this is good. Developing that patience, it's a very good thing. That's why I love how my mindset's getting, because, okay, it's only been 5. I only been lifting for 5 years. Imagine in 10. You ever seen that? Anyone seen that Avatar meme where Toph's like, imagine me in my prime, I would have destroyed, It's like, imagine me 5 years down the line. The same mindset, but times 10. It's like the Kaioken, where I take me times by 10. Boom, where are we? Damn, I can't wait. But I can't wait. That's the paradox. I actually can't wait because it's a day at a time. Let's do the same habits over and over, regardless how boring. Just keep doing it. It's fun. So I don't even think it's boring. There's peace in routine. I wake up early. I work out. I don't have to interact with most people because honestly, fuck people, but not even in a bad way. But most people just aren't locked in, or they just eat for taste, or they do a bunch of bullshit. They don't want to better themselves. They're just okay, and you're not even attacking them. I just don't want that, so I don't want to be around that. Like I'm so good. But that's why the more locked in you get, the more alone you're going to recognize you're going to become. But you'll be okay with it. That's why the journey is so fascinating, because you're going to keep having these. It's like old versions. You just keep dying over and over again, but you keep getting reborn. You die, reborn again, die. It just keeps happening. It's pretty cool, honestly, to see. Because now, as I make these videos more and more, and this honestly, if you've ever thought about recording and posting it, like just fucking do it. Just retard max, do it. It's honestly pretty fun, but it really helps. It's honestly therapeutic, is why I do this too, because it's made me come to terms with how I feel about certain people, myself. That's why I continue to record these videos. So if anyone, if you're thinking about starting this, like just do it, Retention helped me start recording these videos because it made me confident enough, because that's the thing. A lot of us, we have merit. You have merit. Even if you're 400 pounds, you have merit of eating a lot of food. That means you can put a lot of your energy into something. You just did it in the wrong way. We just have to redirect it, Like Avatar, where Zuko is redirecting lighting. We just got to point it. Instead of McDonald's, we want to point it towards, some eggs in the gym. And then boom, you're going to fucking change like night and day. Got to redirect the energy. Because man, everyone's addicted to something. See, for me, I'm just addicted now to self improvement. But I would rather that addiction than alcohol. Jesus. And that's the funny thing too. Funny enough, the more locked in you get, the more you can drink. But you're gonna recognize you're not gonna drink as much because you're locked in. Now, the reason behind that is because your metabolism. People with a higher metabolism, a little more muscle mass, you can deal with alcohol better. But funny enough, when you do get to that point, you're probably not gonna be drinking like the people that aren't locked in. But yeah, it's funny how that works. Even with candy and all this stuff. If you're like really locked in, like ultra insulin sensitive, you can have Oreos, gummy worms before the gym. After, boom, you're good. You're not gonna gain a fucking pound because that's how locked in you are. See, you get rewarded, and you can cheat when you get very locked in. But many people, are close to that point. Shit, I'm not even close to that point. But people would argue, oh yeah, you definitely at that point. No, that's the thing. Your standards are too low. So you think, well, I'm not. No, I can keep going, push it a lot further. So you have to keep raising your standards. It's very important. Just keep raising your standards. If you outgrow some people, fuck it. It is what it is. People come and go. But just keep raising your standards, stay locked in, and go to the fucking gym. Let's get it.